Olá a todos, bem-vindos novamente ao canal Renda Maior. O meu nome é Diana Nunes e quero desde já apresentar então, neste momento, o Mark, que é o chefe de investimentos, e neste momento vou-lhe fazer algumas questões relacionadas com a Bondora para que existam esclarecimentos e algumas dúvidas que nós temos como investidores, tal como eu sou investidora, ficarem aqui esclarecidas. É uma entrevista que será então em primeira mão, portanto vamos fazer aqui algumas questões muito importantes. Não percam, já a seguir. A entrevista vai ser em inglês, será então legendada, portanto vamos aqui fazer então as questões. First of all, thank you very much for your invitation and be here in Bondora for me is very
Thank you for coming.
useful, and I have questions, Portuguese have questions, and I will make these questions to you guys. So, why did it happen, how did it happen, the idea from start Bondora, the lending platform, how this starts, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's a great question. And like we were saying just slightly before the interview, 2008, around that was the time when, you know, there was a real issue of trust with global banks, global financial crisis, a real need for a technological innovation at this point. So this is around the time that Bondora was founded, so over 10 years ago now. And it was really to bring the future of banking to the world and to give them the trust that they needed. And if we look at today, where we stand, we're now at 70,000 investors with 230 million invested and with investors from 85 countries around the world. So that's kind of the beginning and where we are today and everything in between, I'm sure we'll talk about now.
2008 since now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
It's a lot. So how it work Bondora? Can you explain Portuguese how this is work? What is Bondora? What you doing here? The lending, can you explain us? Who can invest, who can ask for the lending?
Yeah, so there's two sides of the business. So let's say you are someone with some money spare that you want to invest, and your goal is you want that money to grow, of course.
Yes.
Right? Now, traditionally, let's say someone is looking for a loan, they will go to their bank and they'll ask the bank for that loan, and it's a long, terrible process. You know, it takes it's delayed, and you know they might not get a fair rate because their credit assessments are quite primitive in the way. So instead of the person looking to get the money from the bank, they would then come to Bondora, and that money is funded by thousands of investors, right? So from your perspective, your money is essentially spread risk-wise by just a small part of it going to one person. You know, so you're not funding one person to one person, right? So it's like a social lending. So thousands of people can fund, say, one person's loan, and we issue these loans in Spain, Finland, and Estonia at the moment. These are the only countries that we issue loans in.
We have the Spain, Estonia, and Finland.
That's it.
So just in Spain or on these countries you can ask for money.
That's where you can ask for the loan, but investors
Portugal
can,
maybe one day?
Maybe. We don't have any immediate plans for that right now, but it's definitely something that we could look at someday.
So what are the best guarantees that you can give us when those want to invest, those want to put their money in Bondora? Can you tell us all the guarantees that you have here in Bondora?
Well, I'd say first it's important to note that with any investment there are no guarantees, and if you get any guarantee then you should question it. But I'd say you can take this guarantee or some confidence in what you're investing from our track record, right? So as I said, we're a company that's over a decade old.
Yes.
We have a history of paying returns to investors well above the average that you would get from your bank over the past 11 years, and our investor base is 70,000 people, right, which is incredible. So we don't have any like official guarantees backed by the central national European banks, but I think that speaks for itself. The results speak for themselves.
Indeed. So why you choose Tallinn? Why Estonia? Why your headquarters are here and not in London or New York? I don't know if you want to grow to all over the world. So why Tallinn?
Well, originally it's where our founder is from. So our founder is from Tallinn, Estonia. So that's why the company began here. And at the time we only issued loans in Estonia. So
you start here the business?
Yes, that's where the business began. And Estonia is actually one of the leading countries in the world for technological innovation. So it's very much a startup culture. People who are very entrepreneurial minded, which means that getting people to join the team who have the same vision and can bring that vision to life is much easier than probably anywhere else in the world.
Here for people, you have a lot of startups.
Yes.
Rising of startups here like Skype.
Yes,
Skype is
exactly,
from here,
exactly.
So everyone knows Skype's in Portugal, so it's easy to see why you are here in Tallinn.
It is, because you have kids start learning how to code in kindergarten here.
Really?
Which doesn't happen in the UK,
No.
right? It's a truly digital lifestyle, and then here, obviously, it's a much smaller population than, as you said, in the UK or in the US. So you can build things here and then expand into other countries, which is exactly what we've done and what we're doing.
Yeah,
it's a perfect place to start a company.
Indeed. We never thought that Estonia can be like this.
Oh, of course
so
not.
I think many Portuguese, they don't know Estonia, so it's new information for
it's
us.
surprising.
Yeah. About other platforms, like we know you have here other competitors like Mintos, Tuino. You know that there are other competitors, other platforms, lending platforms. So why you can say is the best, the Bondora platform? Can you tell me about the competition? What is the main difference?
Well, for me, I'd say one of the things that I love the most about Bondora is the choice that you have. So traditionally, if you want to invest, really hands-on, you'd have to go to one place. If you want to have a passive income stream, you have to go to another place. Whereas Bondora, you can do everything with us in one place.
You have the investments you can.
Yeah. So on the passive end of the spectrum, like I said, which I love as well, you can just use Go and Grow.
Yeah.
You can just make a few clicks, add your money, get the return, take it out. Super simple, right? And a really good net return. On the completely opposite end of that spectrum, you have the API, where investors can build their own program and then connect to it, and add all their own filters and data points which they want to invest in specifically, which is more time intensive. But my point is that it's a one-stop shop for investing. So you can come here and
do it.
And we have everything in between: Portfolio Manager and Portfolio Pro, as well. If you have a longer-term outlook and you still want some choice. So I think that gives us a huge advantage being leaders.
The future plans. Can you tell me what is the future plans for the company in the future? What is the goal to achieve?
Well, the long-term goal is that eventually Bondora will be a service that millions of people across Europe use. That's the long-term goal. But in the short term, specifically what we're doing in the business today, we're really focusing on simplifying our products as much as possible. So the point of this is to reduce the barriers to entry for people who want to invest and get started, because traditionally you need a lot of experience and know-how, maybe a degree in finance to get access to this kind of asset class, whereas we're breaking down those barriers. So it doesn't matter if you're a pensioner and you've never looked at investing before, you're an 18-year-old student, who knows, you can get started with Bondora. So
everyone can.
Everyone can. And and part of that, later towards this year, we're going to build an app, which is going to make it even easier for people to use as well.
It's another question that I have. When you will create the app that we are used to having in our phones and see how the Go and Grow is growing. So when? Yeah,
so it's something that we have planned for later this year. Yeah, later this year we'll release a first version of it. And since you're so interested, we can get you on the list as well. So
I will think about that. I will appreciate it and I will share with people. So it's the new stuff, being with your mobile and see and check how invest.
Just super easy. It's of course
it's different than being on the website and the platform. So
because our site is optimized for mobile now, so you can use it really easily. But you want the app, right?
We want the app because I think the apps is easy to check it out.
Sure.
We've been growing and all over Europe now. So how many countries are Bondora available to invest? If I'm a citizen in European or in Europe, and I want to invest in Bondora, what is the main?
So if you live in the European Union and you have a European registered bank account, then you can invest with us. You can invest with us if you live outside of the EU, and let's say you're an accredited investor, which means that you have a certain high net worth, to say it simply, which is why we have investors from 85 countries around the world.
We have a lot of Brazilians that subscribe on my channel and are watching maybe this interview. So for Brazilian and Brazil, did you accept investors?
In general, no.
Okay.
Like they would have to be an accredited investor, which is, as I said, of a certain net worth, which we can provide some specifics on for you to share with your viewers after.
You have a specific network, you can talk with you guys.
Yes.
Send an email. And,
that's it. But in general, it's just European investors for now. So, actually, most of our investor base comes from Germany, Estonia, and then Austria and Switzerland as well. So, and hopefully some more Portuguese investors too.
We talk about the default rate. So, what is your default rate, and what is the strategy to reduce it?
Mm-hmm. So, we've really been working hard over the past couple of years to improve this, because it's something that, of course, the investors need to see the cash flow come back into their accounts. So what we've done, especially in Estonia and Finland, is automate this process of how we file these cases to the courts to get it back. And we have a 3-step collection and recovery process, which makes it easier for investors to follow exactly what happens.
So for explanation, the Bondora lending the money and someone is not paying.
Yeah.
What you are doing?
So let's say someone doesn't pay back.
Okay.
Step 1 is that we try to contact them ourselves to collect the money. It's called in-house collection.
Okay.
And this is where we'll send them a letter, emails, maybe some text messages to get the money back and see if there's anything that we can help with as well. But let's say that doesn't work, then after a certain period of time we have to file this with the courts as a default. And then once it's filed to the courts, we're waiting for them to give us a decision on that loan itself, to tell us, yes, you are correct in your claim here, and then they will rule in our favour. After that, it moves to stage 3, which is the most important stage, which is the bailiff stage. So the claim would then be passed to a bailiff, who then has the right to retrieve that borrower's the money owed back to us or to the investor. And despite the loan being unsecured, it's not secured against real estate, but they can still freeze the borrower's income and assets to retrieve that cash flow back to investors. So we've actually witnessed some really record-breaking months over the past few months regarding this, which is really exciting, and we hope this to continue as well.
About the supervision, the regulator here in Europe or in Estonia, what is it, and what are you? Or is your boss in kind of the supervision of your work?
So, unfortunately, there's no unified regulation across all of Europe for peer-to-peer lending. Although we support this and we've been supporters of this in the past, it would make it much easier for expansion and for education and trust for investors as well if this exists, but it doesn't. So we follow the local KYC and AML regulations in each country that we operate in, of course the EU-wide. As well. For issuing loans, you have to have, the financial supervisory.
Supervisory. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And we have this, in Estonia as well. So
you have the Estonian supervisor and maybe the Spain.
Yeah, in Finland as well. But in
okay.
Spain, and you just have to comply with the local laws. The certain interest rate caps and everything that you can apply. So. Okay. But yeah, we hope that one day there will be a unified regulation, because then it will make it much easier and even more trust for investors then as well.
Can you explain us how does it work, Go and Grow, and why did you came with this idea to make automatic investments for the people to have this interest rate, and why this is interest rate, why not 10% instead of 6.75%? Can you explain this?
Yeah, happily. So the first step is that roughly 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we contacted thousands of customers that we have existing, and we wanted to find out exactly what they need to be more comfortable to invest with, how we could improve, what we as a platform can do to improve our products, improve the service, everything. And what we kept hearing is that they wanted something which was much more simple to understand. right? Much more simple for liquidating the portfolio when they need to. And we kept hearing this and kept hearing this. And, we conducted, Temi who's over there, and myself and the team, we all conducted these calls to speak with these customers, spoke to them in person, had them in the office as well. So you could say it's a thorough market research that we did within our own investor base. And the net result of that was we decided to create a product like Go and Grow.
Yes.
And specifically how this works is the Go and Grow portfolio itself is made up of thousands of claims on individual loans. I think it's actually around 70,000 altogether, 70,000 individual pieces, which is huge, right? Yeah. And when you invest in Go and Grow, you have a claim within that portfolio. So, and that's attributed to the amount in monetary terms that you invest, and then the interest rate that you receive is up to 6.75%, and that's for everyone. Now, the reason that we chose 6.75% is
the main reason.
Yeah, so it's because traditionally on Bondora before Go and Grow, the average net return over the past decade was 10 to 15%. Now, the net return, how Go and Grow invests is actually exactly the same way, so it mirrors the whole Bondora portfolio. So we are quite confident, and results have shown this so far, that we can continue to deliver on a promise of up to 6.75%. So investors can have an interest rate which is not volatile, which is stable, and then they can rely on it for future goals like we discussed earlier today. Yeah. So if the net return falls above 6.75%, this goes into a reserve fund, which is then kept for times, let's say...
When you need it?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say for some reason there's a huge economic crisis, maybe we can't deliver on the 6.75%.
You were there to fuel.
It's there to supplement that, and for other reasons as well. So Bondora actually has no claim on that, so it's not an extra profit that goes to Bondora. We have no claim on that. It's only for the investors.
Yeah,
it's a reserve.
For the,
yeah.
Okay, so very nice. It's a protection.
It is, and
kind of.
For us, it's really important for us to keep our promises, to be able to say this is what we will deliver, and then actually do it. And that's what we're trying to do at the moment. That's what we've done. Everyone's got the 6.75% since we released it.
The trust is the best thing that we can have in our companies and our products and stuff. Any message you would like to send to Portuguese that never invest in Bondora or are thinking investing in Bondora but are with some issues? So any message you can...
Oh, okay. Well, I can't speak Portuguese.
Yeah, you can speak Portuguese. I will translate. So Portuguese. Why Bondora?
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is it's always best to actually get started with something, because you should always do your due diligence and you should do your research and check if something is right for you as an investment. But the important thing is actually to take action once you have all the information and research, because a lot of people will read reviews, look at videos like yours, and they'll decide like I'll do it later, and 10 years later you still haven't invested in anything. And you've lost so much money in that period of time from what you could have earned through compound interest. So I would say it's perfectly natural to be a bit apprehensive about getting started, but the important thing is to actually get started.
Thank you very much for this. Então, aqui ficam os esclarecimentos por parte da Bondora. Espero que tenham gostado, tenham percebido mais sobre esta empresa e que realmente não percam tempo para investir. Aqui em baixo, neste vídeo, vai ficar então o link para que se possam inscrever. Ganham então 5 euros para começar. É só fazer o vosso investimento e ver então o vosso dinheiro a crescer. Da minha parte, se gostaram deste vídeo, por favor deixem ficar o vosso like. Eu vejo-vos no próximo.